Yo, it's your boy DMac, and welcome back to another episode of Palworld. That's right, coming on some pretty exciting times, but I do want to apologize. I missed a couple of days of videos this week, and it's in particular because of this game. Yes, Palworld. I don't know how it does it, but it sucks so much time out of me. Yeah, as you can see, I've got my breeding farm going. Last episode, we went and we defeated the Blazamut. Yes, what is it? Blazamut Row. And it wasn't that tough, but we found out there's actually an Ultra. So, haven't done the Ultra yet. I've been preparing for it. That's part of what's been taking up so much time. But we're getting close to it. I'm probably not going to do it today, but we'll probably do it in next episode. However, I fought the first version of it again, got lucky enough on my second try to get the combo that I could begin breeding. And let me tell you, yeah, it kind of put a corkscrew in my plans, but we are very close. And this is what I'm talking about that's very exciting. We are very close. I have had my breeding farms going like crazy with these guys. We'll take a look in a moment. And as you can see, look at all the eggs that are ready to be hatched. I've also been working on that other new, Knocklem. I've been working on that guy as well. And it brought me back to needing, let's have a look-see. Oh my goodness, so many different things going on. It brought me back to needing to breed to get the Earth Emperor, which I never actually got passed over to the correct pal. Let me see if I can find, well, he's currently breeding with my guy, but I finally got my Anubis with Earth Emperor and all of the other, best fighting abilities that you would want. I had to breed that with our Frost Stallion, which then brought me to getting this guy, the War Sect, which I am now finally passing over from the War Sect over to Grisball, which I had done some breeding on recently to get that guy all finished. And I've already got some good finished products. I'm just trying to get the male and female combo of them. So that should be all set. I'm extremely close with these guys. We'll have a look-see, but yes, just look at how many. And I've been doing this for days. Like, this is not a quick process. This is a multi-day process, depending on how lucky you are, getting everything passed over. And this is one of the few pals, too, that you can't piggyback off of your previous guys. It will only breed with itself, so you have to have two of them, and you have to pretty much, with the IVs and abilities, start from scratch. So that has been in progress, but I have also, that's not all, also been breeding the Selynes. Yeah, and these are coming pretty close as well. In fact, as you can see right here, I do in fact have one that is perfect IVs and the abilities, at least that I've been shooting for. Yeah, this one right here. So also another pal that had to start from scratch. It could not be piggybacked upon with any others. But I thought today, being that it is literally the first day that I'm going to have all of these pals that I'm breeding completed, and we can actually try out their final form in how I bred them. So I thought that would be kind of fun. And I thought some people were asking in the comments if I could kind of go through my breeding processes, like how I go ahead and do it. So yeah, sure. Why not? It's a bit of a process, but let me see if I can show you. Couple of things you're going to want. So this guy, I'm probably going to get it on this time. But this guy, I've got already the perfect IVs on a bunch of them. And in the final sets that I have going, you can see it's super close. So anyway, in this batch, most likely we're going to get it. In any case, what I usually like to do is start off with just a single ability. So, for instance, I'll take like this one right here. In fact, even before that, you're getting two random guys. You pretty much just want to throw them together and just mass breed as many as you can. And probably one of the most important things you're going to be looking for, and of course this is going to require either you use the mod that shows reveals the IVs, or you have to be late enough game that you actually have ability glasses, which actually is not as hard to get as it used to be. This is because in order to craft ability glasses, you need, well, A, to unlock it, but B, you need these guys, the Ancient Civilization Cores. Used to be you had to be able to defeat the raid bosses to get it. Now you can get it from that oil rig raid, which is might be, I haven't played it early game. I've only played it when I'm at end game, but it might be the easiest way to obtain the cores, most reliably and cheaply. So definitely cool addition. But anyway, for many of you, breeding doesn't really start until you get the glasses. Because once you can actually see what the IVs are. And every pal, if you don't know, gets a random IV anywhere from 0 to 100 in those 3 stats, in attack, health, and defense. So, assuming that you can see the IVs, the first thing you're going to want to do is breed them together and let them lay as many eggs as possible, and you are literally just hatching them, hoping to get one of those random stats to be at 100. And there's a lot of RNG in Palworld, so you got, again, you got to hatch out a lot of eggs, but you will get it. It is not that difficult to do as long as you have the time to do it. So you're working on getting those 100s. It's probably one of the most critical and difficult things to do within the breeding process, which is why I say it's most important to start with that and to breed until you get that. Who cares what the abilities are? Now, of course, while this is ongoing, and this is oftentimes one of my pal box, by the way, this is pretty much all the space I have left even after the update because I have so many pals. But as you're going, I pretty much just grab back whenever I get my first as I'm going along, and a lot of these I probably dumped out, but just any abilities that you do like, kind of table them, throw them back so that you do have them. It'll help save you time, but don't worry about necessarily breeding with them yet. If you do happen to get lucky, or, because you're just doing random breeding, you can try and breed whatever you get a 100 with that pal that also has the ability, just so that you have it together and it saves time. But you could also just table them back for once you have the IVs that you want. So as you're doing that, it's also important that you try and, when there is an ability that you do want, try and get them, if you can, either clumped together or just single standalone ones. I even like the ones that have nothing, if possible. And this is a wild one that I caught. I held on to him just because he had no passives. But anyway, you're just going to want to hang on to those. And your worst case is when you have something like this where you have multiple abilities you don't care for. And that's why it's important, I think, to have the single ones that just have a single ability. So like right here, here's some examples. A lot of these I just, was compressing on because they're going to be thrown away later. But ones like this, I kept this one probably at the time because it had Serenity or something like that. This one I kept because it has Artisan, and things like that. But then you're going to want to try and especially hold on to the ones that have just the single alone. And that's because, and I'm sorry that I don't have many of these because a lot of them I've finished and I've thrown out. But you're going to want to hold on to them so that you can then later, once you've got the IVs the way you want, or at least closer, you can start to breed those pals that just have the singles with the ones that have a whole bunch of, trash that you don't care about, like this one. If I was trying to get Artisan out of here, let's say I want Artisan and Work Slave. So let's say I have Work Slave by itself. I would breed that one that just has the one ability with this one because there is a much more likely chance that the child would have just one or 2 of the abilities instead of all 4. It can have all 4, but it's more likely that, at least in my mind, from my experience, that you'll get a better chance of getting just that artisan off, or just the artisan with the work slave or whatever ability you're trying to do. So as you do that, it then will bump down to, a possible child that looks like this. And here's another example of one. So here I kept this one because it has 2 abilities that I like, and it has one of, the better IVs. Then you go ahead and breed that with the other ones that have, for instance, these 2 maybe, and try and pass, eventually you get it so that they're all on one. But again, the IVs are going to be the most important. So here's one then. So like with this one right here, Ferocious, I could breed this with one, again, with say like this one right here. If I was trying to get the IVs passed over of the Ferocious, this is all perfect. I have just one. I can breed it with this one, and I have a chance of then getting the Ferocious and the Serenity and passing over the good IVs. So as you're doing that, you're starting with one, trying to get rid of the other ones you don't want, and then you'll end up with one that's, like this, just 2, and then all perfect IVs. So, and I prefer to usually try and get it to where I have just ones that are like 2 abilities that I like. And I try and narrow it down to that. I don't like it when they have 3. I usually like to get it as much as I can with just 2 and 2. So then I can breed once I have the one, 2 and 2, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. I breed them together, and then I have a better chance of a straight 4 coming out. Now, I find there's a lot of little gimmicky stuff. I find that you have a much, much higher chance if you're breeding together. If you have just 2 and 2 and they're all different abilities, you do have a better chance, I believe, to, again, everything with breeding is about time. How many times am I going to have to lay an egg before I'll get what I want? And, I'll tend to save these back. So I'd breed this one with this one. I have a pretty high, again, it's not super likely. It still takes a lot of eggs, but there's a much better chance of me getting the exact 4 that I want. And I prefer to do it this way than one with 2 and then one with 3. It's just that one always ends up coming out messy. And I believe it's because whenever you get the 3 of them passed over, it's always going to have one random one that it's going to randomize. Whereas doing it 2 and 2, you have a better chance of just the straight 4 to come out. In any other case, when I'm breeding 4 together, I actually usually prefer to do the 2 and 2 breeding together than I would a 4 and 4, having all the abilities, the passive skills that I want, than having them in a different order. I do notice that when I have 2 that are exactly ordered the same way, notice Legend, Lord of the Sea, Musclehead, Ferocious, it's exactly the same ordered on this one. Once you have a pair like this, they will pump out all the time, like probably 1 out of 4 eggs or something like that, 1 out of 5 eggs. Maybe it's even 1 out of 10, but still, it is way more likely that you're going to get a child that has all 4 of those abilities the way you want it. And once you can get those pairs matched up like that, like notice I have right here, these 2 are like this. This was a really hard breeding pair to do with the Bellinors, just because the males are extremely rare. And it was taking me forever to even get, ones, because I'd have a male, but it wouldn't be ordered the right way. It would just take forever to pump out. But once I got them to be exactly the same, I'm getting hand over fist, perfect, bred the way I want Bellinors, just like this. Like just so many of them. So it's greatly to your advantage to breed like this. Or even if you have 1 with 4 and 1 with 2, which in this case I think I'm doing, you have a decent chance, I'm finding. But the order of it definitely matters, because I'm not sure how it works, but I don't know if it matches up the first with the first, the second with the second, the third with the third, and the fourth with the fourth. But I definitely think somewhere in there that it does make a difference versus if you had them all switch swapped. Now, I'm even feel like, and again, this is just speculation, I even feel like having it where, notice how I have Ferocious Serenity. I made sure to match that up as well in the same order so that when it would randomly, choose the Swift and the Musclehead to add to it, this would always be the same there. So again, not explained the best. I'm kind of just rambling this off, but if you can match the order of them, I find that makes a big difference. Again, doing the 3 for none of these, I always will do 1 and 1, 2 and 1, 4 and 2, or 2 and 4 and 4, or 2 and 4. I hate the 3s. I almost, unless I'm forced to, I never match up the 3s. I just pretty much toss those away. And if I was gonna do a 3, I would again prefer that it's in the same order. I feel like more than anything, the order makes a big difference. Now again, there is so much RNG in this, there is so much randomness that even matched up perfectly, the majority of what you get is still going to be not what you wanted, but it definitely makes a big difference. And of course, the biggest thing is, no matter what you do, you could breed 2 completely random things and end up, with enough time, with enough eggs, it will randomly give you exactly what you want. So the most important thing is that you have the time, you have the cakes, which I'm starting to run low on, at least in that one. But, just as many eggs as you can. Now, of course, in fact, I should split these right now. Where was I at with this? Bada boom. Now, of course, all the extra excess guys that you get are going to be very important. So whenever you're breeding, you're going to want to condense. And I have so many condensed guys from the project, but what it does is once you do get what you want, you'll have the guys already pre-condensed that you can just toss on and they're good to go. So that, I guess, is breeding in a nutshell. For any of the guys that you can use to continue, piggyback off of previous ones, I always like to hold back and save. So, for instance, Grisbolt was a guy that I used in the past. I like to hold on to different random stuff. So these are like some actually really random ones that I held on to just because they had a random ability that I wanted. Let's see, that was not the Grisbolts that I wanted to show you. Bada boom, bada boom. Okay, here we go. So with here, I have my finished Grisbolt that I bred with, but then I hold on to, whenever I get the good pairs of the 2s, I always hold on to those as well because they end up helping me out in the future. I knew I'd want to use this guy to piggyback off of for breeding. I didn't know what it would be with, but I figured it's probably not going to be with Lord of Lightning because that's only beneficial to electric pals. Well, thank goodness I held on to, I probably bred that one with, I don't know, another one to get the 4. But it ended up working out because then I'd have this guy with just the 2 and then this guy, which I wanted just like this. And then I can breed the 2 with the 4. And it's actually been extremely successful in popping out. Now, this one I didn't have the order the way I wanted. Sometimes I'll hold on to tons of guys, but you end up running out of space. So I really wish, I feel like one of the coolest things in this game would be if you could change the order of how your skills, passive skills, laid out. I feel like that would make a big difference. That, or make it alphabetical where they, are always in the same order. But I wouldn't have to hold on to quite as many pals. But you're going to want to hold on to, so again, you have the ones that you want to keep because they're, they're exactly what you want. I hold on to as many as I have space to hold on to. But then you want to hold on to, at least at minimum, I would say, hold on to 1, 2 guys that have the 2 and 2. And then even if you can, hold on to guys that just have, and these are ones that, you know, this guy I held on to because it had Stronghold. Maybe at some point I'd want Musclehead and Stronghold on there. Or else this one, I've been holding on to the new ability Nocturnal. I haven't bred it onto anything yet. It makes no sense on Selyne because she's dark type, but I might want to hold on to that for the future because Nocturnal on a worker guy would make any guy work through the night. So it could be hugely beneficial, you know, and things like that. This one I held on to just because it had Work Slave on it, and I didn't have that, and I wanted to eventually, if I bred one of these guys to be a worker, you know, I might want that. And Sirius, I held on, you know, so again, Work Slave, Sirius, and then somewhere else I have Artisan and so forth. So, and that's sort of how I go about it. I hold on to all the things that are, you know, backups for future potential breeding. So, and that takes up a lot of space in my boxes, but it ends up paying off because then in the future, as I need it, you know, I got it and I can use it for breeding, piggybacking. You know, right here, these guys I held on to and, you know, I can use for other breeding. So that is my process with the breeding. Now comes now that the boring, nerdy part's over. Let's get to, I'm going to hatch out all these eggs, see if I get lucky enough to get all of our guys. And then let's take out our very best Selyne, our very best Blazamut, and Knocklem. And let's go have fun with them. Heck yeah! Almost one of my first eggs. Just hatched this many and already got it. So, Eternal Flame, it's a special ability that Blazamut Rue has. Serenity doesn't really benefit it substantially. We'll talk about that later, but it does give it a plus attack, and I just didn't see, other than going with maybe a movement speed thing, anything necessarily better. And then Musclehead, Ferocious, of course, for boosted attack, perfect IVs. I am quite happy. Let's just see what else we got here. Bada boom, just so I can get these out of the way. This one seems kind of interesting too. I was just talking about the Nocturnal, and it has Sirius on it as well. I'm going to hold this one back just for potential future breeding. I don't know. Could be interesting. Anyway, let's condense those. And because I already have tons of ones that I've previously already done, let's go ahead, boom, and as soon as I get it, fully condensed. Beautiful. That is going to be a keeper. So, we'll take that guy out. I'm still going to hatch the rest of these because I'd like to get an army of them. I think it would be quite fun to incorporate, if possible, at least a few of them into the future raid boss battle. But just wanted to show you my very first one. Days and days of work finally paid off. Holy crap, that took a long time. But we're doing pretty good. This is what we ended up netting. Every single one of these is perfect. Perfect IVs and the abilities that I wanted. Out of all this, I only got one female, but lucky enough, you may ask, like, how far do you go? Why do you, like, at what point do you stop? Really two things. One is, you might notice these are also all condensed, but I have two more fully condensed junk ones and then almost a full 3. Basically I go until I catch up to where I use all the condensed ones that I've done, all the junk ones, and then I stop. Because, you know, otherwise it's such a waste. Because every fully condensed one, what is that? 116 pals that are required to get one fully condensed, I believe. I think it's, what is it? The first one's 4, 16, 32, and 64. So I think that's 116 that it adds up to, plus the pal that you're doing it on, so maybe that's 117. It's a lot. It's a huge waste if you don't fully use them. However, I may keep on going, but we got lucky enough with this. As I'd been saying before, I try and go until I have a mating pair that actually matches up the same exact passive skills in the same exact way. Just because I know I'll be able to throw these two down and they'll be able to pump out, much more reliably. And at that point, I feel like I'm pretty much done. However, so we still have more to go, but I'm not going to worry about it for today. But these guys have been doing pretty well. Might be a good time to start cutting back because they're not, perfect matches for all of this. In fact, I think I only had one that was completely the way I want it. But these guys, they pile on. I went through the entire circle probably like 3 or 4 times before I was finished. So why don't we pull out all the extras here since we don't need it. Now, in some cases with the with these dudes, I just left them going as many as I had because every single one I was pretty much condensing, and I have to actually switch back to that. But right now, just to save time and not have to wait for all of them to hatch, every single one of these chests pretty much is filled with these and because they're the same type of egg, huge dragon, I didn't want to get confused. These are all Jormuntide eggs, which I have to go ahead and finish hatching before I start with the next round. But I have so many of them. So let's get those guys all pulled out. And I don't want to get them confused with here. I'm really starting to run low on space. Let's go ahead, pull all these guys down here. Another thing would be nice. So I'd like it if they made an update that you could actually manually just like grab abilities and swap them. That would be so handy. I'd be so mad if that was actually a thing that I just didn't know about, but I'm going to go ahead and say that's not a thing. All right, so these guys, yep, we can junk both of those. These guys, I might keep this one, but this one is definitely getting junked. Might keep that one. This one's definitely a junker. Now, the other thing, too, once you're at, like, pretty, finished, like this one right here, it's just missing the one IV, but I have all the abilities. I'd rather have one with the 4 abilities the exact way I want and be missing one IV, assuming on a different PAL I had the matching one. And if I had like this, if these were perfectly matched up, the way that these ones are with the passive abilities, it's actually pretty easy to get that final IV. But when they're all kind of in different order, it can be hugely difficult. It'll happen eventually, but it's not quickly going to happen. So, but I'd prefer doing that and missing an IV just to get that passed over. So it all depends. But, all right, so we might keep those ones, might keep you. Here's my other one that I had finished actually earlier today. That's when I decided it's probably time to start recording. I was like, it'd be more fun if we waited for one to hatch. But you can see right here, I have this one, going, and that probably got me a fair number of them. All right, and then you out of here. All right, cool. And then I think these ones are all pretty much the same. So what I might do is hold back one like you and one like you. So I have a male and a female, and I have them differently ordered. Sometimes if I have enough space, I'm starting to run low on space again, I'll keep both. Let's see. But again, it depends how much space you have. It's always good to just save back as many different scenarios as possible. So, or maybe I'll keep those too and condense those. But realistically, and yeah, so we'll just hold on to those. Boom and boom. I don't know if I have a Musclehead Ferocious one. That was actually one that I was working on and never finished, but whatever. We've got what we want, and I'm running low on space. So let's get all those guys now condensed as well, because we need to make room for the next one. So where do we got? Where are we at? All right, this guy. All right, so let's condense all of these non-perfect ones. But I have to say, that was pretty successful. And when you have so many of them all going at once, you know, it can make something that's fairly, you know, low odds happen pretty quick. What's going on with you? Why are you hungry, bro? I've noticed these guys in the base style that I have, sometimes they get kind of stupid. There you go. I think he gets like, doesn't understand where he is to go and eat. Happens sometimes. These guys are another ones I gotta work on breeding soon because I haven't yet. But anyway, all right. So doing pretty good on this front with all these dudes. I'm going to get them cleared out because the next thing I want to do real quick, just to show you, when you have matched ones, I'd say there's a pretty high likelihood in going around here. And this is the thing that you got to figure for each batch of eggs, we'll say, you know, how many they lay until they can't lay anymore. The game forces it to stop. Which is, we got 4 more until it's there. I'm going to say for each batch like that, which is a little less than how many eggs I have going around here. So what is that? Like maybe like 20, 25, something like that. You have a chance, if you have them all perfect, a chance for maybe like 1. Sometimes you don't get it. Sometimes you get 2. But, you know, around that for it to actually work. So why don't we experiment? And I'm just going to hatch these eggs out around here. I'm going to go ahead and do that off cam, but I'll just go through and do this many. Let's see how many we get paired up of those two to be perfect. Because again, remember, these are the ones that I harped on earlier that are exactly the same. And we'll see how likely it is. All right, I've got all the eggs done up. Let's see both how many that was. So each box is 30. And I think we have, so 6, 12, 18, 24, 25, 26. So out of 26 of them, let's see how we did. So nope. In fact, to make this easier so I don't have to do it twice, this one is currently condensing. All right, so nope. I did get IVs on that one, but not the others. At this point for this guy, all I'm trying to do is condense. So even if we got a perfect one, I would still condense it. But there we got all the abilities. So it took 1 out of... No, we got more. Got it a couple times. So, I mean, even 1 out of 6 will get you just the abilities passed over. But then on top of that, you got to get the IVs passed over. Pretty close. Missed 1. Nope. But you see how it kind of goes all over the place. Most of them, I mean, you can get, oh my goodness, fully condensed. All right, did we actually get it in that? So in this case, oh, look at that. So 1 out of 26, and I got it. Not bad. So, I mean, that you may other times do that, and when they're not matched up like that, it can take forever, absolutely forever. But you can see I have all these other ones all ready and waiting to be condensed. So we don't need any keepers at this point. Now, I was able to get that, again, 1 out of 26. I've got over here, let's see about this guy to see how we do, and let's see what we actually have matched up. So on this one, I only have 1 that has 4, and then I'm doing it with 1 that has 2. So again, pretty close, and I do have the Ferocious and Serenity matched up. And they're all perfect IVs. Let's see if we can get it. I'm going to say it's probably going to take more than 26, but we'll see. And check this out. We got it 1, 2, 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. It's crazy. It's just RNG for you. And then I have this one with infinite stamina. I'll probably use that later. So let's go ahead. Let's condense. So we now have 4 of those. Let's just go check what the original one was. Let's see here. Are male's the one that's short on? Okay, we had it in a male. All right, do we actually have it matched up? So, ferocious first. Ferocious, these match up? Oh, so we've got, it's finished. The breeding pair is complete. That is awesome. All right, so you can get out of here, and we can just put these two together. That is super sick. So let me get these guys all condensed, organized, and let's see what we have to work with. All right, got everything organized. And this is basically what we're looking at. All these Blazamuts are all condensed and all perfect stats. These are the ones that I still have to get a perfect stat guide to go with. So I went ahead and I threw the two matching ones back up there to continue to go and get eggs. Because they're all the ways that I said matched up perfect, we should get the eggs, you know, the perfect stat ones that we want rolling in quickly. I've got these guys also going to continue because why not? I may want more. And those, and then these dudes, I only have one fully condensed and one that still needs about 30 left. But I've got all these guys that I need to, you know, get condensed. So they're continuing to go. I'm letting them, just because I have more than I need, I'm letting these guys continue. And part of the reason why, how did I take so many condensed, you know, fully condensed guys to get to perfect, whereas this one, it's kind of the other way around? Well, it's because this was the only one that I was able to piggyback off of the Grizzball, and then to get Warsect, piggyback off of, I think, Anubis and someone else. Yeah, so anyway, I was able to piggyback, and that's why I've got other pals that I had to, you know, get tons of. And I mean, I've got tons of Anubis. I have full bases that are using tons of Anubis. I've got, where is it? Yeah, look at this page. And I have tons of these guys already at other bases. Look at how many fully condensed. Now, next, if you're looking for what are the most common best combos, for a worker pal, generally you want to have Artisan, Work Slave, Serious, and Lucky. Those are going to be all the boosting work speed moves. And these do not make good fighters, but they're going to be able to do, you know, working the fastest. In this case, I would assume mining probably counts with the, or in fact, I know it does, with the work speed, but also handiwork is going to be for the work speed. If you're looking for transporting pals or farm pals, this setup is not your ideal. It's not bad, but neither transporting or farming get boosted by work speed. If you're looking for a pal for that, your most ideal is going to be, there's a couple of different strategies or methods for what's best. This is what I like to use. Basically, ones that make the sanity stay up. So I boost on that. Now, the idea behind that is, you know, the better their sanity is, the less they're going to have to, you know, take breaks from what they're doing. You could also, other methods are, sometimes they go to say like eat, and the break they take from going to eat, you want to avoid. In that case, you might want to do, you know, swift, runner, and, you know, all the movement speed boosters. So when they do go to eat, it's the quickest. And then other ones you could do, in fact, I do have it integrated into this, ones that make their hunger also not drop as fast. So Diet Lover does that. I think there's a couple of others. Anything that makes them not be as hungry as often, therefore not taking a break from laying eggs, or in this guy's case, that would probably be the best. This also, you could argue, for transporting pals, they'll be taking breaks less often. by having ones like this, or again, the movement speed, the faster they can do the transporting, you know, the better. So I have for all these ones kind of a mixture, because again, Bellinor is a little difficult to breed just because males are extremely rare. So as you can see, I have a mixture of boosting, because I also use them for crafting. Some of them I have the artisan, work slave, lucky, and so forth. In fact, lucky on this one is a difficult one to get, because lucky is only obtained through finding those, you know, boosted size lucky pals in the wild. And Bellinor is not a pal you can find in the wild. I don't think you can get one in lucky, to be honest with you, with that ability. So there's a couple of unique abilities. Legend is another one. Legend you have to pass down from getting breeding with a legendary pal. B-Guard's another one, like Bellinor, that the males are extremely rare. You'll find that from time to time with breeding, where just one gender they do not do as many of. I was expecting to run into that with Selyne, because in the wild, the females are pretty common, the males are pretty rare with the meteor strikes. However, once I started breeding them, not so much the case. I got a pretty good distribution of both. So, and the rest is just up to RNG. But those are basically, and then fighter. I didn't focus on that, although we've kind of been doing fighting ones the entire time. So again, there are unique moves, and some new moves were just added into the game. But generally speaking, I like to go with, let me see, right here, Lucky, Ferocious, Musclehead, Ferocious, Legend, Lucky is traditionally what I'd always like to do. So all boosts and attack. But then if you're able to get guys that have an elemental boost, which most of them you have to breed these down. Earth Emperor, I believe that originated with Anubis to be able to get that. But certain special boss pals will have that, a particular move. If you can get that, and you got to look at it, it's only going to be, it's a bigger boost. Let's put it like this. This gives a 20% boost in earth damage, whereas Lucky, let me find when that, Lucky only gives a 15 boost in attack. Well, if you, 20 is higher than 15. I guess that would be the easiest logic to look at it. But you got to look at, okay, is this guy in fact going to be doing mostly ground type moves in this guy's case? And you can see this is a level 55 Knocklem, and it's, at least by default, all the moves are ground. So in this guy's case, absolutely would benefit. However, there are cases with other guys where they may not benefit, or they may be a dual type pal, in which case you may want to have one or multiple. So for instance, with Jormuntide, I have a bunch of them that have Flame Emperor, that's the boost to fire, whereas I also have other ones that are boosted in Divine Dragon to boot, depending on how I want to do the move set. This would boost the dragon type moves. I find that it's probably better to do that than have two. I do have some that have both the fire booster and dragon booster, but then if you're doing that, you're going to end up missing out on Ferocious would be what you'd remove. If you did both, 20% attack, it's kind of a wash up at that point. So I prefer to specialize in just a single one than multiple. But it's to each your own, and depends on what you're building the pal for. Other special moves, Selyne, this is a fairly new move that had been added in. Its special move is Siren of the Void, only comes with the Libra one, although you can breed it back down to the other, and then anything that Selyne can breed with should be able to pass that ability down, which is going to give both a boost to Dark and Ice type. And then this is a new move that is, I think, generally good, because if you can't get lucky on a pal, and you already have Musclehead Ferocious, this is going to give both an attack boost, because Brave is another one that you could go with. Because if you can't get, for pals that you can't get Legendary, which again, as I said, Legendary is one of the best ones. Only Musclehead's going to be better than it. If you can't get Legend passed down to it, so if it's a pal that can't breed with other species, it can only go with itself. Such as Bellinor, such as Blazamut, you're not able to get the legendary passed onto it. So in cases like that, the fourth move would probably be Brave. But Brave, I think I have somebody that has Brave on it. I believe Brave is just a 10%. Let me see. Let's find Bellinor that has that, because I did go and do that. Actually, one of these probably has it. Yeah, Brave. So Brave gives 10%. That was the next best attacking move possible if you couldn't get Legendary. But now, Brave is outclassed by, once again, the new move that we were going for, the Serenity, because it gives basically that same 10%, but then on top of that, it gives 30% active cooldown reduction. Now, the catch is that only is really beneficial. Again, Serenity's pretty common, but the only pals that are going to take advantage of that are ones that have good partner skills. And for this one, can be ridden, enhances dragon attacks while mounted. There's no timer thing. So I did it with this just because Brave would really be the only other thing. Actually, there are some others, I lie, but for breeding purposes, I may want to use Serenity for others, and it's fairly common. And it's an attack booster, nonetheless. All the other possible ones you might want are not attack boosters, so I wanted the highest attack. That's why I did that. Now, other potential good ones, Swift is always a good one, especially if it's on a mount that you will ride. So, you know, being able to move faster, and the pal can move faster. Again, for workers, it can be good, or for mounted pals. But then another new one that was recently added is, let me see, Infinite Stamina. This will, max stamina is boosted. This, again, only works for rideable pals, but is something, for instance, I'm going to want to get on my jet wagon that I like to ride. So anything that you're actually riding, you know, when you lose stamina and you got to wait for your stamina to come back to do another move, or you're sprinting too long, you run out, this can be very beneficial. This is the legendary passive. The next one after that would be, what's it called? Impatient. So that wouldn't do as, no, Impatient is the other cooldown one. That would be then Fit as a Fiddle, which I probably have somewhere, a Fit as the Fiddle. But anyway, that, I believe Fit as a Fiddle is the one that's the other one that would be good for the infinite stamina. And then Impatient, it goes with the Serenity. And then finally, this is another new one that was added in, Does Not Sleep at Night. This can be very beneficial as a move to put on to pals that you want working all night long, basically to simulate being a dark type pal, and that may not need all the abilities. So Nocturnal would probably be the new meta for breeding into farming pals so that they go all night long and don't have to sleep, as well as transporting pals. And then other ones too, I use, of course, the Vanworms for doing the keeping our stuff refrigerated, specifically because it's a dark type and stays up all night, so I don't have during the night my things not refrigerated. Well, having Nocturnal now opens up many other possibilities for putting there, as well as the electric generation. It gives you way more options, as well And then also, I already used dark type Bellinors. They're real quick, good transporting. But if you wanted to make your Anubis, for instance, stay up all night, you could do that. So all decent options. And I know I've rambled on for this for so long. I'm so sorry, but been meaning to do this in a video. All right, next up, people like to ask, how do you level your guys up? Well, of course, the best way... Oh, and I was going to condense one of those two. The best way, of course, is with the, what are they called? Training manuals that I have in my inventory. It's unfortunate. I got to sacrifice this guy just because this one's not done yet. But so be it. Bada boom, bada boom. All right, so I want to see what these guys are once they're, of course, fully condensed, perfect stats, max level, and all the such. So let's start to get them all leveled up. Of course, you got to bring them into your inventory. So let's grab you, sir. Let's grab you, sir. And let's grab you. And we can try out these 3 pals. All right. So, of course, what I like to do is, first and foremost, these guys. You can see how quick it is to get them leveled up. These things are not free. If you want them, you got to find them in chests. They're very common in caves. If you just are playing a lot and getting a lot of different chests, you will come across them pretty quickly. And this is probably going to be, if you have enough of them, your best bet. Now, if you're trying to level up guys for the raid boss, it can be pretty difficult. And I'll show you some of the stuff that I did for that. If you're trying to level up a huge amount of pals all at once. It is not the most efficient way, but I find for leveling up a large amount of pals at once, it actually is pretty efficient. All right, and you. Because I was going to go and battle to level these up. So, of course, battling is a great way. Running the... running all the boss towers can be really good. All right, let's put those away. Running all the boss towers over and over again can be a good way. Fighting high-leveled pals. But you can also go to one of your bases. And by the way, we're probably going to get a meteor strike right here. So let's be prepared for it. There is one pal that I have not yet even seen. And it may be because it doesn't actually, it may be biome dependent. But I figured it would be. It is the, I don't think we got him. Nope. I've gotten mostly some, and look at that, a male with 100. That's actually extremely rare. Wow. Sorry though, Selyne. We already got you. All right. What's kind of funny, I never... all right, take him out, please. I never realized you could just shoot these things to actually get them to harvest. Which is actually kind of cool. You guys taught me that. I should have known that, but I never really thought about it for actual useful harvesting. All right. You can see what's going on with my base, these insane wall structures. I do this so that if I want to ignore when things are raiding me, they literally can't get to my base. But it was just adding on little by little, you know, with the structures and building it bigger and bigger. And also, they don't always spawn in at the same place. So after I block it one way, they start spawning in over here instead. So I just kept on blocking it. So this way, my guys don't get interrupted from doing work, even if I want to ignore a raid. All right, so what you can do, and this works better the further you are in the game, if you pretty much fill up your entire work pal box with the guys that you're trying to level up, and then go over to these guys and make sure that you already have, in particular, probably the best one and the one you get earliest game. Oh my god, we got a raid too. Go and grab wood, do the wood thing, and get a whole bunch of it. Fill up your entire PAL like base with the guys you're trying to level, and then go to your furnace and bada boom, bada boom. You get the same amount of XP as if no matter what you are crafting in here. So this is the cheapest and it cooks the fastest. It's going to level up that little amount of XP, but to every PAL that is out on the base and in your inventory, in your party, all at once. So while it's not a huge amount of XP, per se, you're leveling up a lot of guys all at once, and they're all getting... I don't believe they share the XP. They each get the same amount, you know, whether you have one or a bunch. So I find it to actually be a decent way, in a way that I also have leveled up a ton of guys all at once without having to waste all of my XP things. All right, lastly, let's fully enhance these guys. So you can see what all their attack, everything like that is. Let's start to boost it. So these are going to be using PAL souls. This is probably what I am shortest on. And quite honestly, I should be saving these for our Jormuntides. But bada boom. I'm just curious to see what these guys stack up to. And in particular, this one the very most. So looking at with... again, you know, with whatever else I'm wearing, the stats do get boosted as you, if you have any stat boosting type things. But if you're going to compare now a fully condensed one with and without stat boosts, and I don't have any that are fully leveled, dang it. But anyway, yeah, you can see it is substantial. Now, other big boy pals, you can see how they stack up. So my Jet Dragon right here, again, this is mostly because of it has legendary, and this guy does not have legendary. That's where you see the discrepancy. But if I look at then the defense, look at that. Defense is, nope, it's still higher on the Jet Dragon. So Jet Dragon may end up being a better pal. However, this is dual typed, and fire type with a dragon is pretty nice. Let's compare it now to one of these guys, and this one's with Fire Emperor. So again, this one has legend, this one does not. But you're seeing the stat-wise a little bit, it probably would be better with the Blazamut minus the other. I wish I had one that didn't have legend to compare it, but you can see the defenses are better. And then HP-wise, which is not boosted by any, the Blazamut actually has the least out of the three. So it's not super beefy. Now, if you had an alpha variant, which that's another factor, and what I should be brooding for, that boosts their HP. And what's an alpha? This guy's an alpha right here. When they have the little symbol, they get far superior boosted. All right, so we've got you done. Again, these are pretty pricey, but let's see what I can do. I'm probably going to have to pay to wipe two of these guys in order to get it done. So let's go ahead and do that. It's expensive, but hey, I do it for you guys. All right, so reset. It's going to cost me 165,000 gold, but then you get all the souls back. Now, the Jet Dragons I did use quite a bit for the Bellinor raid boss fight, but as you can see, I have so many Bellinors, I'm probably not going to be doing that fight anytime soon. All right, so these are cleared out, and this is what all these guys, or a lot of them anyway, are fully condensed. I'm probably going to end up resetting all of them to give to the Jormuntides if we need them for the fight. I'm probably going to try the fight without doing them first, but all right. And then also, if you're short on souls, some things that I like to do is try and get the attack boosted up, and then I'll back down this like that if I need to. Or, you know, even like that, you know, just get it to where, because it gets progressively more expensive. It takes, in each stage, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's of the simple ones, but then it backs down to just being 1, 2, and 3. And again, this doesn't mean 1, 2, 3, just 3 of them. It means you put in 1, then you got to put in 2, then you got to put in 3. And then boost it out, but we'll fully boost it. Now, the work speed one, unless it's a worker, you don't want to do that. And the worker guys, you can boost just that and then forget about the rest of them. Bada boom. And for you. Now, this guy's probably going to end up being a waste, but, you know, I thought it would be interesting just to check it out, because it is interesting typing, and it is kind of a rare pal in the fact that you can't breed it with anything. And I didn't even realize that she is a flyer when I first used her. Not that fast of a flyer. Oh, it actually is decently fast, but I'm so used to jet ragging. But this is where this one with the infinite stamina would probably be more beneficial. All right, so do I have all 3 guys on me? Nope. Let me go back, grab them. We'll do a quick little run through and just see how we like them. All right, we don't have much time left, so let's go and battle. Well, you know, each pal is going to have specific uses or specific guys you go after. I thought that based on our typing, it might actually be decent to try these 2 legendaries in a battle. All right, so based on our typing, only he's going to be better against the dark one. Selyne will be better against the light one, but possibly weak to the dark one. Knocklem's probably just going to be generically, you know, pretty generic at him. Now, the Knocklems I was considering being potentially useful for the raid boss fight. I don't know really necessarily how great they are, but I haven't really tried them out. So let's see. Come on, go get him. Now, it looks like you have to activate his special attack. But look at that. Really nice area move. Doing decent damage. Whoa, where'd he go? All right, let's go ahead and activate the steel thing. I don't know exactly what that does. I guess just for that amount of time. Can he attack while this is going on? He's probably got long cooldown. But really nice area of attack moves. Plus the defense won't really help us because he's not going to be in our party, of course. But he's able to keep his health. Oh, is that regenning his health too? Ooh, he's starting to take big damage now. All right, you did good, buddy. You're doing good. So here, possibly the cooldown move, which I don't have bred onto him, could be useful if you're using him in your party. But yeah, I like him. He seems pretty beefy. In this move in particular, especially for a larger group, pretty awesome. All right, let's move on. Let's try Blazamut, who should be pretty amazing. And this guy's really fun for riding as well. Yeah, not bad. Now, normal Blazamuts, I was never, like, they're good, but they're not, like, phenomenal. But this guy, just adding in that typing and having the dragon typing is pretty interesting. God, that's such a cool move. All right, he's focusing on Necromus. And look at that, his health's staying up pretty well. All right, finish off Necromus. Got him. All right, awesome. Now, let's bring in Selyne. All right, Selyne. That's a cool move. Now, I'm kind of seeing Selyne in some ways. Of course, being the rider type is nice so that you have that. You always want to have a rider in your party if you're using for, like, you know, everyday use, just to get around. Of course, once you have a Jetragon just so far superior. But I kind of feel like... So, like, once you have the Bellinor, I don't necessarily know why you'd want to use a Selyne, other than if you want a rider. But the passive ability on the Bellinor is so much better. But I haven't really used normal types very much, so I'm not really positive on all the benefits. Of course, going against a dark type is probably not very beneficial, or going against a dragon type. But she's doing good. She's beefy. All right, where is he? Where is he? Where'd you go, bro? Come here. Really cool moves, though. It's also going to be interesting. I haven't experimented with passing any of her moves. Holy Burst. That's a cool move. And then Moonbeam. That's a really cool one. Oh, did you freeze me in the middle of my Moonbeam, bro? It's kind of cool, too, how you sit up. And the moves don't take that long to regen. That's actually really nice. Of course, he zoomed out. All right, Moonbeam. And that's cool. It reminds me of the Bellinor move. All right, finish it off. So if I had Bellinor, she would have already whooped this guy. But look at nearly full health. Not bad. I'd say all these pals are awesome. And Selyne, I think I could use in the raid fight as well. Because let's take a look at what the actual moves were. Actually, all of the moves that it uses, that's interesting. All, and that's why it wasn't doing as much damage. They're all normal type moves. So I can experiment if I wanted to with, I'd probably have to put on, if I wanted to use dark moves, I'd have to either breed them in, or I would use the fruits to add them on. But these are all moves I'm not familiar with. But all pretty cool. But good to know. I probably, for this battle, should have swapped them. Since they're not as effective, they would have been neutral at that point. He, of course, uses all the ground moves. It's going to be great for the raid boss fight when it's in the ground, or in the electric mode. And then Blazamut, all of his moves, he's using 2 dragon types and a fire type. Probably not an incredible one for this particular fight. It would be pretty much just neutral, but, you know, big damaging moves. So all in all, pretty cool. I'm happy. I think they're all really, really cool pals. Of course, I want to be able to breed all the new guys. The last one that I'm really interested in is, it's like I forget his name, but Xeno something. He's one of the guys that comes down from the meteor. I've just yet to have one spawn, let alone 2 of them to be able to breed. So one day I will get it, but it should be pretty obvious when a meteor comes down, there will be a boss bar along with it. So I'm excited to try it. Nonetheless, I think that's going to conclude the episode, guys. Sorry if it was a little bit more talky and boring of a one, but hey, you got to finally see how I do my breeding, everything like that, and see some of the best new guys added in the update at perfect stats, perfect IVs, and everything. So it's been a process, but we did it. All right, guys. See you next time. Thanks for watching. Show that support. Slam that thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And make sure to check out the Discord. Remember, we also have a Palworld server going up. If you want more info on it, go check out the Discord. Link is in the video description below. Anyway, I'll see you next time at the raid fight. As always, peace out.